Right, we'll move on to something a bit newer, and it's a Midland 38. So it's PR27 97, so it's 80 channel, and I think the only frustrating thing I've found on these is you've got the band switch between the UK and the EU channels on the mic, and you pick up the mic, you knock that, and the next thing is on a different band. You wonder why nobody can ever hear you. And I must admit that when I had one in a pickup truck I owned, that I actually disconnected that so that it stayed put on the UK set of channels, and then used the front panel button. So I found that frustrating. So this is from the same customer as with that Cobra 21 XFM. He was given this by a retired lorry driver. I think this is going to be the 24 volt. We're going to have to check this. I've got a new one of these in stock. I don't know whether we ever covered it or whether it was before I was doing these. We're supposed to have one of every model ever for the UK market, though I think I've stopped doing that now as I head in the last 5 years towards retirement. Right, connect the test equipment. External speaker and external S meter. Might play with that. I've got an external S meter I actually want to play with, which I bought relatively cheap off eBay, and it may not be suitable at all, not off eBay, off AliExpress. So this is a working set. It's just routine service. The Cobra 21 was supposed to be routine service, but it ended up having quite a lot of adjustments, and then the squelch isn't that good anyway. So what are we on? So it only says in this tiny little window UK, and if we change the band switch to EU, I'm going to presume he wants this on UK, and we'll do the tuning in that direction. Yeah, very small legends. I will test it on 24 volt if it really is a 24 volt set, but I'm going to get the instruction book out to prove that. So, I need to. Does it boot up on channel 9? Yes, it's annoyingly on channel 9. Right, now we're on channel 20. So switch picture in picture, and then we can see these together, especially if we've got the right camera on. Oh, it's going to do that, is it? Right. It's still going to do that. We'll pull the extension speaker out totally. It's just over 3 watts. It's 3.1. Now we'll move to channel 40. It's 3 watts on channel 40, and it is four watts on channel. Sorry, 3 watts on channel 1. So that's well balanced. Out of interest, we'll just see what it's doing on channel 1 of CPT, and it's doing 2.9-ish. So that's quite good over the 80 channels. Go back to UK, we're concentrating solely on that. So, let's press transmit. 980 milliamps. We're on channel 20. So these don't have low power because it's the next level, isn't it? It's 2797. So we've gone past 2794. We're on the 80 channel combined set, so it's a different spec. Also says it's CE approved. Shall I take some screws out? I'll tell you what, we'll take 2 out. These seem smaller than usual, or perhaps they're more recessed than usual. Now, I really don't see many of these sets. So let's have a look at receive. So channel 20, 79125. Switch the cyanide meter on. Put the extension speaker back in. Now I've hit something because it's gone clickety clickety click. There's no PA feature. What are we on now then? Yeah, I knew it was up to some trick. So it's certainly receiving. So let's see how well. So it is 0.56 for 12, 0.44 for 10, and if it will do 20, because it's all down to noise, doesn't mean diddly squat. 1.7. Squelch. 100 microvolts tight, which is absolutely ideal. And let's see where the sensitivity lies. Attenuator on the screen. So we're at 0.3 of a microvolt. We'll turn the signal generator to standby, turn the squelch down to threshold, switch the signal generator back on. Very good. 0.86 microvolts. Excellent. Deviations, just look at that. Oh, good grief, I'm going to pull my hair out over this. Wallow is 2. Frequency. I think the test set's still warming up, so yeah, I will want pulling up. I will do it pretty shortly, but I'll check it again before I send it back to the customer. 2779083. Now it's just starting to get noticeable down there, so that does need pulling up. So we have a meter lamp, so that's okay. And the mic that comes with it works. Does it have some kind of meter? Well, it reads 4, doesn't it? So it needs to go out reading 4. And then on the S meter, I mean, what is S9? It's lighting all the bars for S9. So we'll look at what that's supposed to mean. So this doesn't have PA. I'll just print myself off some information. Right, I've had a look around at what we have. We don't have an instruction book, and I can't find one to download for this version. This isn't the 24 volt version. There's a subboard lives across there for the voltage regulator for the other version. So the one we've got is the Midland 38 Plus, which is the 24 volt one and has a heatsink on the back. So I've already scanned the instruction book from this. I'll put this back. We've also got a couple of these M-Techs which look like exactly the same set, don't they? So I'll tell you what, this one's in a box. I wonder if it's got its instructions. Don't think so. Nope. So I'll tell you what, we'll once and for all, we'll open this up and we'll see whether the MTech is the same board. This is one of, I've got two of these, one in this box which sadly doesn't have its instructions, and one which is just kicking around. They've come in batches of stuff. I probably bought that off eBay, the one with the box, but the other one would have come in a batch of stuff. So I don't know who MTech were. There is an M, letter M tech, but not the EM MTech. Put that out of the way and we'll look at this. If I can get the lid off. So apart from a different colour printed circuit board material, we've still got the crystal filter there. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Good. So at least we now know where we are with the MTech. It's Midland 38. Of course I won't remember that when I come to do it. So if you've got the one with the heatsink on the back, it's going to be the 24 volt, 12 volt model. And no doubt it says on the front somewhere that it's the plus version. We'll put that away later. We're probably best off doing a photo of this, but I'll just make a start on the transmitter. So we'll have to stay in that one. These are wax filled, that's fair enough. Spot on. I wouldn't expect any of this to be out. No. No. Not sure whether that's done with the spectrum analyzer. So it's staying about where it is. So we have to find out what the presets do. I know we've covered this before, and I think what I ought to do is actually look at my previous video rather than just mess about. So I will pause the video and we will do a photo. And the other thing is, I just showed you this did come with a circuit diagram, and I think basically this remains the same, but on the plus version you've got this extra little circuit for the 24 volt voltage regulator. And we can clinch, I think, whether this is similar, because the chip is something 322, and it's going to be under there. Yeah, it is the same. Good. Okay, so I've done a photograph, and we'll get on with it. So, as expected, I did one a year ago. I just had a quick look at that to see what we're supposed to be doing. That's power, and it does 4.1 watts, so I'll just bring it down to 4. So that's fine. Get the clipboard. So that's now 4 watts. We'll go and check it on the other channels. So 3.95 on channel 40. And on channel 1, dare say 4.05. So let's go back to channel 20 and let's see what the current consumption is now. 1.22. So we haven't got low power. Let's do deviation. Actually, I ought to have done the meter next, but we'll do deviation. It just needs to come up a little tiny bit. It's VR5. No, power was 5. It's VR4. Wallow. There we go. So 2.2 as an average to 2.5 as an absolute maximum. We're not doing the VCO. Frequency, want to bring that up. Now that we've warmed up, it's 097, so the 083 wasn't true. That's going down, that's going up. Let's put that on the thing. Key up, 27,79125. I normally have it at 126, but I'm not going to faff for that. 27,79125. So we are spot on. Let's see if the meter, which is VR2, that one, I'd want it to be, obviously it was doing 4 bars before, but I want it to be only just doing 4 bars, if you can understand that, and not, I'd like it to be if I could adjust it. Right, well, I'm going to just turn the power down a moment because I can't get that to read anything. So I'm going to drop the power to 2.5 watts. We may have got the wrong preset, you see. I may have misunderstood the manual. Let's try that one. Or the one I think's the squelch. I don't get that. Well, there we go. I don't know. That is definitely the receive meter. So I'll put the power back to 4 watts, and we'll just assume we can't adjust the TX meter on this particular set for whatever reason. You can see how bothered I am, can't you? I didn't think it was a fake one on these. Right, so we'll move on to the receiver. So let's see if we get the oscilloscope on. And this time we'll plug the equipment, speaker and all that into the set. Put S9 equivalent on the signal generator. Bit of noise on the volume control. I don't know if we can clean that. And just see if we can maximise that with the detector. That's not the detector. What am I doing? That's the detector. It's already spot on where it was. I've now upset the IF. So, we'll go over to the cyanide meter. Just correct that. I'll probably put it back about where I started. Yes. So 4 dB now showing on the cyanide meter. Go through the front end. Bit there. No change there. Tiny bit there. Tiny bit there. There we go. See if we've got a new cyanide reading. So I reckon that's 12. So now for 12 we've got 0.52. And for 10, 0.38. And 20, 1.45. So it has improved it, which is nice. So 100 microvolts on the radio. Let's adjust this S meter. I think you're supposed to have it so the, let's make sure I'm doing the right one. It's that one. I think it's supposed to be so that it just lights the fourth bar, which it does. So as I turn the signal down, there we go. And then finally, of course, I've upset squelch in trying to prove that that was the transmit meter. So put squelch to full. Obviously I've upset that, so we'll just put that back so it opens. So our tight setting is 100 microvolts. Show the attenuator. Yep. And now we'll do the sensitivity setting. So park the signal range at 0.3 of a microvolt and put it to standby. Set the squelch to threshold. Switch the signal generator back on. It's actually straight in. Just 0.3. That's a great result. So they're working. I'll just clean those. That's working. Right. See if we can just clean these controls. Let's switch the power off. There's a hole there. Power back on. That's got rid of that. Well, that was straightforward. So it just wanted a bit of a retune. Got a bit more power out of it. got a little bit more sensitivity for what it's worth. It's probably going to do another 10 yards. But as far as power goes, we've got that from 3.1 to 4 watts. So there is a difference there, and it might make a tiny difference to results. So yes, that was in good condition, and I'm just catapulting my swagger. So we'll put the lid back on. So you've got a processor under there. Just for those of you who want to think, where's the phase lock loop? It's down there. I think we had Midland 98s in all the Nissan Micras we had here. I think we have 3 Micras. Or did we have 4? Anyway, we had I think it was Midland 98s, and it had a scan switch button on them. And I thought it was going to go around and scan. It doesn't. It scanned round once and then went back to the same channel. Now I can see what that's about. You know, you're looking for a free channel or a busy channel. So imagine you're on channel 31. You press the scan button. It goes all the way around and then comes back to 31. So to me it was a bit useless. It's a similar kind of arrangement, similar kind of age. So we'll put that back together. They're quite short screws on these. They're not the normal 6mm ones. They're about 4mm. But when I opened the M-Tech up, they were the 6mm screws. So that is absolutely just a retune. So he's got a nice set there. Now we've optimised it for the UK channels, like you'd expect me to do. And just out of interest, I'm going to put it on EU, and we'll go to the trouble of putting the signal generator on channel 1 of CPT. So I'll dial. We've done on the air test before on CPT only sets, and you know, we've had to change channel 6 times over the course of the 6 miles just to try and be away from foreign interference. 27965, there we go. So the cyanide reading for 12 dB on channel 1 CPT. Oh, I'm on the wrong scale. Is 1 microvolt exactly. So we've tuned it for there. And the transmit power is, unplugs the speaker. Transmit power is dead on 4 watts, the same. But that was just for your information. The speaker's working in the set, and there's one other thing I want to play with, and that's this meter. I think we'll just keep it on the test set for now. I'll pause the video. So I bought this out of curiosity off AliExpress, intended for a Yaesu ham radio set, which is of no interest whatsoever to me, and it's a accessory S meter. So I'm just wondering if there's any electronics in here, or whether it's just a meter. Now we've seen these before, and they're about £50 for one to go on a CB. So before I plug it in, we'll open this up and actually see what's inside it, because I don't want there to be some electronics in there and because this radio is only going to be expecting to drive a bare meter. So I thought, well, these are relatively cheap. It has a 3.5mm jack on the end, and I'm not sure that most sets don't have a 2.5mm jack for external S meter. And it should be just an S meter, so don't think for one moment it's an RF power meter as well. It isn't. That socket. So all you've got is a meter and a preset, which you've got a multi-turn preset which is accessible through that hole. So we could calibrate this. So it says on the front FT857 FT897 Yaesu, but of course it isn't Yaesu at all, it's Conga Wonga Bonga. So I'm going to plug this in. Let's take this signal generator back to channel 20, 2779125. Right. Put that back to UK. Switch that to channel 20. And we'll put an S9 signal on, which is just hovering on the 4 bars. So is it the right socket? Well, on this radio it is. So there we have the S9. Now, of course, it needs calibrated for the particular radio. So let's do that. So making sure my test gear's on the appropriate. Where did I put that twagger? So I really need an adapter 2.5mm to 3.5mm, and bearing in mind these are mono, not stereo plugs. So if you need an adapter, make sure you get the right one. So let's see if we can calibrate this to this radio. That's going further. So where is 9 on this? You've really got to take the lid off to do this, because as you put a tool in to turn the calibrate thing, it doesn't line up properly and it wiggles about on its flexible leads. So I'm having to hold it rigid with one finger. But I'm not complaining for £14.95. I think that was the delivered price. I might leave this plugged in for a life when we do the on the air test. There we are. So now we'll put his lower signal on. Right down to nothing. And there's our nothing. Right, I'll put the lid back on that, and we'll put that on the aerial, and while it's on this set, we'll play with it on this set. So I thought I'd show those because they are readily available, not a difficult to get item, and the delivery was, I think it was only a couple of weeks, which is unusually good. I think they do a power meter for this type of Yaesu radio as well, but anyway, this seemed, or a black one, and this is the white one. There was a choice of 2 anyway, and I was just hoping that all it was a meter in a box, and it is. So you've got a capacitor in there for damping, otherwise it would wiggle around a bit more. Oh, that's a laugh, isn't it? Yes, good buddy. So talking of good buddies, let's see if there's any bad buddies on channel 19. Later on in the year we are going to change the base station aerial here, not this one, but the one on our 76900, and I'm going to do a before and after so we can see if there's a difference. And straight away our accessory S-meter has changed as it picks up residual background noise. Well, Anna Roger. Let's go through the channels. So we have farmers who use channel 9 for some bizarre reason. One Anna Roger. There you go. So, I hope you found that interesting. It was a very basic, straightforward tune-up on a working radio. So it's relatively modern at 22 years old. But conveniently had a squocket on the back. There we go. Thanks for watching the Midland 38 ordinary 12 volt version.